The collaboration conversation is brought to you by Project Brickworks, the new ministry dedicated to equipping Christians to use their talents and gifts to bring others into a relationship with King Jesus. Project Brickworks is a crowd-funded nonprofit ministry made possible by amazing, generous folks like you, and we are so very grateful. We created the collaboration conversation as a way for Christians to share about their upcoming projects and how they are using the gifts and talents that God has given them. Except for today, because we don't have a guest today. It's just the two of us. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Sarah.
So today, some of our podcasts where it's just been the two of us, we have talked about a variety of things.
Yes.
But primarily Sway and the difficult challenges we faced and the failure, if you will, that we experienced. And today we wanted to not do that again and maybe lighten it up a little bit. So today we're going to be talking, we're going to have a little story time. I'm going to call these story times. So if we're having like a really hard, intense message, it'll be like an episode. But if we're trying to keep it light, we'll call it a story time. So what story are we going to talk about today?
Well, I was thinking that it would be kind of fun to talk about our adventure, our cross-country adventure girl trip in December of
2015. 5 years ago.
As we faced, quote, Goliath, unquote, on your way to UCLA. That was quite the adventure.
It was.
Where were you?
Okay, well, let's talk about how, first of all, it was a God thing that I even discovered the program. And I think it was like summer of 2015. I was in North Carolina filming Fat Chance. If you haven't seen it, it's available on everything. It's available for free, I think, on YouTube. And so I was filming Fat Chance, which was an incredible experience. Maybe we should do a podcast about that at some point. We'll do that.
Should.
But anyway, so I was filming Fat Chance and I was at a dentist office. I remember it so vividly. And we were taking a break and I was kind of just scrolling on my phone, and sure enough, an ad popped up on Facebook or something. And it was for this new program at UCLA in acting for the camera. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I think I shared it with you. And I just was like, what do you think? Should I apply? And of course, you being the mom that you are, apply.
How much is
it?
Okay, sure.
So I don't actually remember applying. I might have been in North Carolina. I might have just like gone home after set that day and applied, because it didn't cost any money to apply.
Well, but it was a little bit of a process. So I think it actually took you time to get some stuff together.
Yeah, that might be true. That's a good point. So I applied, period. I don't remember when it was, but I applied. And
if I recall correctly, you were the very...
Well,
okay.
Yeah, I'll share that later.
All right.
So anyway, I applied. That just took so long to get to that. And I didn't hear anything for quite a while. And then maybe a couple months later, they were going to do callbacks, and I got a callback. And that was such an interesting situation. We had to FaceTime with someone that wasn't there. Like, they purposefully blocked their side of it so that we couldn't see who was listening or watching. And we had to do a scene or a monologue, and they asked us a ton of questions. Anyway, it was intense-ish, but it was fun. And you know me, when I have an audition, I try to just like put it in the trash, so to speak, when I'm done. I throw the sides away, and like I don't want to think about it again. And so I didn't. And I came home from working on Fat Chance and got a job at a preschool, which I just want to say a quick kudos to all of you preschool teachers. Any teacher, really. I was talking about talents and gifts. I was not given the gift of working with children. It was fine. I did it for about 5 months, and then I was done. But I remember vividly getting my email that I had been accepted into the program while I was at work, while I was at that preschool, and I was so excited and couldn't believe it. And it was like 3 weeks before I had to go. It was fairly...
Really?
Yeah.
I believe you. I just remember that.
Well, I remember that we had to pay it. We had to pay it within like a week. We had to pay my tuition, which was crazy.
Did you run and tell Elizabeth?
I did. I ran and tell Elizabeth, and then I called you. And Elizabeth, for those of you who don't know, is my best friend, and she was working at the preschool at the same time. So I ran in and told her. So anyway, I feel like it was just really quick. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe from acceptance to payment. I don't remember. Anyway, we had some time, and then my cousin or my uncle and aunt and cousins called us one night when we were at the
Schermerhorn.
and at Schermerhorn. I don't know. Anyway,
Schermerhorn is the correct pronunciation. Nashville calls it the Skirmerhorn.
Oh, okay.
So annoying.
We were there to see Susan Egan. You got me tickets for my birthday or something. And so,
well, it was a Broadway thing, so we didn't actually know who was going to be singing. And we're in the bookstore looking at stuff, and you're like, "Oh, I like her. I follow her on Instagram, and I think she even follows you back." And you're like, and the lady goes, "Oh yeah, she's great." And I'm like, we're like, "What?"
No, she's like, she's got such a great thing tonight or something.
Yes.
I don't.
And you had no idea.
I had no idea.
I had no
we
idea.
had no idea she was going to be there. Anyway, that was really cool. That was a good show. So, anyway, they called us, and this is such a long story. This is a long story made longer. But basically, my aunt and uncle Sean and Joni from California called along with Sean's mom Pat, and they FaceTimed me, congratulating me that night for getting into UCLA, and then letting me know that Pat was going to offer up her home to me while I was in the program, which was super gracious. And Pat was the best roommate I've ever had, and she's the sweetest, and we love her.
That's for sure. Yes.
And so now I was set. I just had to get there. And so you and I decided to road trip.
Well, because you needed a car.
I needed a car. Well, I had a car, but I was going to need a car. In case you don't know, people need cars in LA. That's just a thing.
Yep.
Can't really live without them. So we needed to drive my car across the country, and you weren't going to let me do it by myself. And rightfully so, once you guys hear all of the things that happened. And so it was Christmas. I had to get there. I was trying to get there on like the 28th or the 29th or something because we wanted to get me settled, and then school was starting pretty quickly. They weren't on the same like time schedule as like the regular UCLA programs.
Sure. Yeah.
So this was a certificate program. It wasn't a degree.
Degree seeking.
Yeah. So it was like a 9-month program.
Yeah.
And so, so here we go. So it's Christmas-ish
it's the 24th
of 2015. Granny gets sick.
Yes, and Dad leaves that day.
Yeah, so my grandma in Louisiana gets super sick.
She's in the hospital.
So my dad drives down to Louisiana on the 24th of December.
Kind of exploding Christmas plans and
just
such.
Everything is imploding. And so then we get word via the news that there's a
storm?
That 40 was closed.
Well,
40 there's only like 3 interstates that go fully across the country.
Well, from where we're at.
Nashville. Yeah.
Well, so apparently it was on the news. We missed it. In the 24th, just to remind you, Dad has left to go to Louisiana.
Right.
And we flood. Our basement floods.
Yes, because it was storming.
Storming super bad.
Tornadoes.
Yes.
Like tornado warnings. We went in the basement.
We were in the basement and all that stuff.
Well, it was flooding. Yeah.
So we get up the next morning, ready to go, driving on Christmas Day, and Dad calls and says, "How are you planning to get there?" And we're like, "We're going to take 40.
Take a drive?
All the way across." What do you mean?
Right.
So,
and then we find out that it is flooded. Was it?
We were flooded.
40. It was the tornadoes.
It was a blizzard.
Oh, it was a blizzard.
Goliath.
That's right.
And they had already started closing 40. Like maybe New Mexico and Arizona.
Really? I thought it was closer. I thought it was like...
Well, it was coming.
Our Oklahoma...
I think it was to Oklahoma by the time Dad got in touch with us.
Got in touch with us. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now we don't have a way to get there. Now we're stuck. Well, that's not true. We are very resourceful, you and I, and so we're trying to outsmart
Mother Nature,
the Goliath blizzard. So we're like, oh, we'll just drop down to 10 and go over because we'll go underneath the blizzard.
Yeah, we thought we were going to do 20.
Yeah.
So we dropped down to 20, and then we're like,
well, and then we were like, well, we're so close to Louisiana, we might as well just stop by. So we drop down to 10 and we go to Jennings, which is where my grandparents live. I don't know if I should say that information, but that's where we were.
Yeah. Well, before we get there, though, so we've had the flooding and there's been some spotty tornado watches kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
But when we're between Memphis and New Orleans, we actually have to pull over the side of the road because tornadoes are coming through.
It was crazy.
I mean, never experienced weather like this.
Well, this whole trip is just a weather storm. It's just a storm. So it's the perfect storm, if you will. So we survived that. And then we continue to drive and we get to Louisiana and we stay a night there. And get to see Granny in the hospital and say hi to Pawpaw and Dad. So we got to spend Christmas Day with them.
Oh, that's kind of
later
true, yes.
Later that night.
It was that night, yeah.
So then, anyway, all right. So now we get up on the 26th, and we're heading across the country, and we're about to drive through Texas for like 3 days. And for those of you who don't know, that is a very long and really painful drive.
It's like over 900 miles.
It's so long, and I hate it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
well, and part of that is because we have driven it 80 times.
Yeah.
Visiting when we lived in California and we were visiting your grandparents. If we hadn't, we probably wouldn't know how painful
it is. Yeah. Well, it's painful. So we're on 10 and we get going, and that night we can't find any hotel rooms because of the blizzard. We didn't go underneath it. We went through it. There was no going underneath it.
It was so
Texas
wide.
was covered in the blizzard. And so we get stuck.
Well, it was because they closed. I mean, first they closed Interstate 40, then they closed Interstate 20.
So everybody was on 10.
Right. Everybody drops down, but now they've closed it.
Yeah.
And it was the last town that you could get to, and it was teeny tiny, and it had like...
I mean, I remember on the news that people were like sleeping in gas stations. I mean, like it was
in their cars, yes.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Along the side of the road.
Somehow, maybe I used my phone to like try to...
we had no service. So Dad got us a room.
Dad got us a room. Oh my gosh, I remember that.
It was, and when we got there, the guy... The prices were posted, and it was like $45 a night. I mean, this was a rinky-dink place.
But didn't they jack up the prices?
Like 180. We paid 180 or something for one night.
One night.
Because he could. And he said, this is my last room. And when we went in there, it was a pretty spacious room. And I kept thinking, we should let someone else who's in their car come sleep with us. And I'm like, no.
No, we shouldn't.
but you know,
right.
That's how I think.
Totally. So, oh gosh. And I remember it was... Yeah, it was a blizzard. Like a true blizzard.
Yes. You couldn't see.
And yet we got up the next morning and... we were able to leave. I mean, it's not like it definitely stuck because like there was snow everywhere, but it wasn't.
It went through pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I remember that initially the drive was we were like a little bit nervous about the roads. And then as the day went on, obviously it got warmer and
well, but I-10 was still closed. Mm-hmm. So we dropped down. I don't know if you remember this on some side roads. We were such idiots. I mean, I think we got fairly close to Mexico.
Yeah.
And if someday it's revealed,
I totally remember doing side roads.
Oh,
that was crazy. Why did we do that?
We had no
California
GPS.
will still be there.
Anyway, we were. It was just insane that we thought that we could just kind of outmaneuver all of the roads.
Mother Nature. Oh,
yes,
yeah.
You know, and so we dropped down south. I don't think the GPS was working. I don't know how we had a map, maybe.
No, GPS was working.
Was it?
Yeah.
Anyway, we just kind of wound ourselves. And we did end up going through a city, and we were like, okay, good.
Okay,
Yeah,
some civilization. Yeah. I totally remember that. And it was really pretty, too.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
I remember that because it was snow. It was snowing
Yes.
in Texas. It was so cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, we eventually get around the closure. I think it was an accident. I think it was like a really, really bad something on 10 closed, just like a portion. It wasn't
true. It was just a portion.
It wasn't like the whole state. So anyway, as she said, we dropped down, did some side roads, came back up, and stayed in Texas for another day because that's what happens. Right?
Okay, so I think there was a night before the blizzard night hit because we were pretty far into Texas.
Okay, so this was our second night in Texas. Okay, because I don't know if you guys know this, but you can't go through Texas without spending 2 nights in it, and at least if you're on the 10 and driving a reasonable.
So we came back up maybe just east of like El Paso. I mean, we were pretty far west.
Yeah, I remember that. So then, so now it's night 3 on the road. And we're driving day 3, and we're driving to Arizona, Phoenix, to visit Jennifer, who is my aunt. Hello. And
my youngest sister.
And we stay the night in Phoenix, and we get up the next morning, and
we're going to hit the road early. It's going to be this great adventure, and Jen's like, well, I don't have to go to work for a little while. You want to go to Cracker Barrel? So we like spent 2 hours.
Yes. Hanging out.
It was wonderful.
It was very nice.
Yes.
And then we hit the road.
Yes.
And it's now day 4. And I will show your favorite clip of...
Well, so let's back up. You did a video update for everybody who's praying for us. So it was day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 was in the blizzard, I think. No, day 3 was in the blizzard. But yeah, day 4 is definitely my favorite.
We'll show a little I might show a couple. So let's show some clips from our adventure.
This is it. We've been driving in this for hours. How many hours? At least 1, maybe 2.
Oh my gosh, we're like 4.
It probably just feels like 4.
It feels like 12.
Well, at least the view is really pretty. It might be taking us for freaking ever to get there, but we're doing it in a winter wonderland. Here it is, the glorious moment of us getting back on I-10 after a 2-hour delay.
It was kind of 4 hours.
It's kind of 4. It felt like 12 due to Interstate 10 being closed between Fort Stockton and Van Horn. Oh my gosh, I've never been so happy to be on an interstate in my entire life.
I will be going 80.
She's gonna go 80. She's probably gonna speed even more than that. Well, the speed limit's 80, so that's not really all that exciting. She's gonna go 81. Hello, and welcome to day 4. Day 4 on the road. It is a wonderful day in Mesa, Arizona. It's super sunny and
Kind of cold.
a little bit cold, but not as cold as it was yesterday in the blizzard that we went through. I don't know if anybody remembered that, but we went through a blizzard yesterday. We stayed at my Aunt Jennifer's house, which is awesome, and we got to hang out with her boys and her, and it was just so wonderful and lovely and awesome. And we got to have breakfast with her, and it was just a nice visit. And we are now on the road from Mesa to Los Angeles. Today is the day. Fingers crossed that we get off the road. Nothing has gone according to plan. So hopefully today will be the one day where everything went according to plan.
No, we're leaving 4 hours late.
That's true. We are leaving 4 hours later than we had initially thought. So yeah, we're not on the plan, but that's okay. We made a new plan, and hopefully everything will go according to this new plan. But thanks everybody for your prayers. Just continue praying that we get there safely. We still have about 5.5 hours. We will get there about 4:30 Los Angeles time. And so just keep praying that we get there safely. And yeah, I'll give you guys an update when we get there, which will be today, because we can't drive anymore. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy.
Day 4.
I love that.
Day 4.
Yeah.
Day 4. Or what? Day 4. I don't know what I did. Anyway, yeah, that's like your favorite video of me. There's probably so many views on that, and it's all you. All of it. Every view is you.
Probably. I'm okay with that.
So we drive. We finally arrive to Southern California on day 4, and we go to.
We're staying with my dad and Grandma Sharon.
Yep, and
in Anaheim,
California,
yeah.
And I will be living in Cypress,
right?
Which is
where
in Orange
I grew
County,
up.
Just kind of on the edge of Orange County and LA County,
right?
Which, for those of you that know, that's not really all that close to UCLA, but
not at all.
It was free, so that's where we were going to live. And so, yeah, we got there, and that night we were having dinner at Grandma and Grandpa Sharon's house, and we had a small earthquake.
Of course we did.
Of course, blizzard, tornado, flooding, earthquake. We hit it. We hit them all. It was awesome. It was a small earthquake. It wasn't, there wasn't any damage, but you definitely could feel it.
Oh, totally.
So it just was such a crazy
weather week
of it was weird. It was like we weren't supposed to go to California, but we were going to go anyway. So
well, and this hasn't been published yet, but I even wrote a book called Sarah's Great Adventure or something.
The kids book.
It was super cute book, and we had a friend do the illustrations. We just never had enough money to actually self-publish.
Right.
Someday, maybe.
Someday, yeah. So, all right. So that was a long story made long, but that was, I'm telling you guys, it was crazy. It was a crazy week of just trying to be obedient, I guess. I don't know if I would put it that way, but I mean, it felt like we were hitting stops at every turn.
Yeah.
and there was no way we were going to get there.
But we really persevered. I mean, we even almost went to Mexico. I mean, we
totally
just
persevered. It was great.
Kept plugging along. I think
maybe we should make a movie out of this road trip. That'd be cute.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now let's talk a little bit about UCLA, since that's kind of what this was a little bit about. So I 100% believe that God intervened to get me into this program. You know, a couple thousand people applied, 33 got in for this inaugural year. And I didn't know why I was going. And God is so good about that kind of thing. Like you think you're going for one thing and then it's just so not what it is. But so I went to UCLA and the program was intense. It was fun. I met some lifelong friends there. I met Olivia there, my friend Deb and Lennon. And, we hit it off really well. And it was such an intense program as far as like,
well, and some great teachers like Emily. And
Nikki. some great teachers who really, really were invested in teaching us about the industry, what it takes, just kind of the ins and outs. They both have been, series regulars, series leads on their own shows, and so it was a really cool program. I don't know. It's been around now for a little while, so I'm sure it's morphed and changed. I think it might be only online now because of COVID, but it was just such a good program for me, at least. I can't speak for everybody because everybody has different opinions about how it worked out or didn't work out for them. But for me, it was the people I met. It was the experience I got. I got 2 generals out of that, which were massive. NBC and Warner Brothers. Oh, a general is just like a meeting with a casting director who wants to get to know you, who sees potential in you, wants to get to know you. And so I just...
Well, and you even got to go see some...
Yeah, I got to go see some shows. I saw a taping of Mom with Anna Faris. And yeah, it was super fun. Was
there some kind of Friends reunion or...
But that wasn't part of UCLA. I was just in Los Angeles, and they were doing like a Friends reunion to honor James Burrows, I think, the director.
Yeah.
But
it was still it
was really cool. It was super cool. But it wasn't part of the UCLA.
Okay.
Yeah, living in California, there's fun things to do. And so I got to get really close with the Hollands, my family. And, they became my second family and took care of me. And it was really great. From the acting perspective, it was really just about learning the 2 years I was there. I had a couple of good opportunities and close calls as far as like auditions and callbacks and stuff. I had my first producer session for the lead on a network television show, and that was crazy. And and which was so weird because the show itself, it was not necessarily something we would be excited about me being in, but the opportunity was exciting, and we were like, oh gosh, what if this happens? Anyway, it was a very cool 2 years of my life that I will cherish forever. I mean, I still have moments where I'm like, man, I should be in California. I thrive from the sunshine, I think. And so, I had a Disneyland pass.
Oh my gosh. You went almost every day.
And right before I moved, I went 12 days in a row. Yeah. I love Disneyland. And so, and sometimes I just would go and walk. It wouldn't even be about like riding, like there would be too many people. So I just would like people watch and walk around. And you know what it was is I listened to Hamilton for the first time, I think. And so I just would listen to Hamilton as I walked around because it was like the perfect length of time to be at Disneyland when you have a pass and you don't have to get everything done in a day. So yeah, it was, my time in California was short, but sweet and important.
And you used your time wisely beyond just being in the class and meeting all the people. I mean, you talked about it a little bit on Olivia's episode, but I mean, the relationship that the two of you built was lifelong.
Oh yeah, for sure. Just really cool. Supporting each other and, self-taping it. You guys, if I had, self-taping. And,
and you wrote the screenplay.
I wrote the screenplay. I was just going to say that the guy I'm not dating, I spent a ton of time doing that. I got my first, I don't want to say my first, but I got a really great professional editing job. I worked for Mr. Kate, who is a YouTuber with like a good, some odd million subscribers. It's like 4 million, I think, at this point. I feel bad if that's low. But and I was there when we hit 1 million subscribers, and that was really
right.
cool. We threw like a little party, and
and she even did just a little bit of one episode or something. With
we did like a little plus size styling episode because she's just so great. She's so talented, and I was really lucky to work there.
You learned a lot.
I learned
about editing.
I was underqualified, and they were very gracious and sweet to hire me. Oh, and we did a reality TV show too that I was on for a couple episodes. Right. That was fun. I'm telling y'all, my time in California was just wonderful, and so many good memories. When I left, I thought it was because I needed to go make the guy I'm not dating. I thought I was moving back here and we were going to start production, but apparently I was supposed to get married. I was supposed to meet Nick, get married, and that's why I was supposed to leave California. Yeah. So anyway, thanks.
I don't think Nick's going back or going to California. So.
There's no chance we will ever move to California. But I'm always available to up and go for auditions or work or whatever. So anyway, it's just we're so grateful to Pat and to the Hollands for just and Grandma Sharon and Grandpa Carter for just really taking y'all. They just all took care of me the whole time I was there, and really allowed me to make the most out of my time there. I really feel like I did. Man, it was a good couple years, and I remember just waking up every day not worried about the weather. That's what I miss the most. I never had to think about it. Yeah, it just was always nice.
Well, and so, putting this in perspective as talents and gifts and things like that. Yeah. We didn't know we had no idea what you were getting into because it was brand new, right? They'd never done it before.
Right. We were guinea pigs and we felt that.
Oh, yeah. Well, most likely, yes. But just that idea of not just being obedient, but kind of being willing to do hard things or things that are out of our comfort zone.
Yeah.
For you to just literally quit your job, pick up and move, 2,000 miles and learn a lot. I mean, there were times when it was hard.
Oh yeah.
I
got homesick a lot, at least in that first little bit. I mean, we went months without. I mean, I came home over the course of the 2 years. I came home a handful of times, but I mean, it felt like it was like months in between, which is probably normal. But we have a very close relationship, if you can't tell, and so it was hard. It was hard that. My niece Amelia, I think, was less than 1 when I left. Oh no, she was really young. She was like 4 months old or 3 months old, and when I came back, she had no idea who I was, and that was so sad.
But we did get to see things like that we would normally not, like Brittany's wedding. No.
Brittany's wedding and my cousin's wedding and cousin
graduation.
We just I was born in California, for those of you who don't know. So we spent a lot of time in California until I was 7, and then we moved, and then we tried to go back like every year for a little bit, or every couple years.
Quite afford that, but every few years.
And so we just stopped seeing these people that we love, and so it was great to have me out there and just kind of use that as y'all came out every year,
yes.
So
both years.
I think more than that. I think you came out more than that. So
yes, I did.
Anyway, it just was a great time. The Lord
really blessed
that season, and was, I think, equipping me with some of these tools to have the podcast and to give me direction as far as where the ministry was going to go. Right. And so it's bittersweet sometimes because you go in thinking that this is gonna happen, and then it doesn't happen, and it's something totally different. But still just as good, and hopefully brings glory to God.
Amen.
So
I agree.
That's the story about UCLA. Anything that I missed or that you wanted to touch on?
Yeah, I was going to give away the ending on something, and you said, let's get back to that later.
So we did like a little graduation ceremony on your birthday. I think it was on your birthday. It was on your birthday, August of 2016. Okay. And so we did like a little graduation thing, which was so cute. But when they announced my name, this was the first, I'm L, right? So there's half of the people before me. And he was like, I have to tell you all something about Sarah. And I got nervous because it was the first time he had like not just said the person's name, handed them the thing, and then moved on. And I got super nervous, and he was like, y'all have to know she was the very first applicant that applied to the program. And I was like, what?
Well, and he did kind of add this won't be a surprise to anyone.
Yes. And it wasn't. Anyway, I thought that was crazy.
Because I think by the end of the time, you guys had split the class into two, and you were like filming or editing for the other class.
Oh, I ended up TAing the following year of students. I ended up TAing for that program, which was such a great experience. I didn't even talk about that, but that was awesome.
Yeah.
Got to meet more people and hone some skills. And anyway, it was awesome. And so,
well, what was your absolute favorite moment in the class, though?
Oh,
well, I know. There's 300. But,
what?
But you guys. So one of the things that they do is they bring in actors and directors and producers.
Yes.
To do what do they call those?
Master classes.
Masterclass.
So there's a couple of moments. I'll give you like a top 2 or 3. Thomas Lennon. If you don't know who that is, Thomas Lennon is an actor. I'll put his picture up just so that you can see. He's from Reno 911 and from every hilarious movie that I can think of. But he came in and did a class for us, and he told me I was funny, and that was it. That was my favorite moment. No, but we also, Olivia and I and our friend Marpo did a scene from the movie called Something Borrowed. With Jennifer Goodwin and Kate Hudson in it. And we did this scene for a director, I think it was the director of The Terminal. And he came in for a masterclass, and you don't get to perform in every masterclass. But that was the one that she and I were performing in. And there's something really special when you just nail a scene and you've worked so hard on it. Yeah. And it goes exactly the way that you wanted it to. You have all your discoveries, you have all your intentions, and everything's there. And she and I just crushed it. And so that was a really good scene. That was a really good, leaving that masterclass, that was it. That was the culmination of the program. Yeah. And for it to go as well as it did, that was really, really cool. The masterclass with Jennifer Aniston was crazy.
Oh yeah.
I made her laugh a little bit, and that was funny. So anyway, it was great. And God is so good. I feel like I will be forever in my life, for the rest of my life, discovering all these little things as to why I was supposed to be there. Yeah. I think that he was planting seeds all over in my life, at least. And so, it was really, really, really special and really awesome.
Yep. Well, God is good.
Yes, and amen.
I'm very grateful that you were willing to share that story.
Yes, you are very welcome. For those of you who don't know, she had to pull my teeth to... Was that it was like pulling teeth to get me to agree to talk about that. So yes, I'm happy to share it. And thank you for asking. Yep.
Well, for more information on Project Brickworks and how you can get involved, visit us online at projectbrickworks.org. To subscribe to our newsletter, text BRICK to 55498. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, like our Facebook page, and if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and turn on notifications. If you're listening to this on a podcast, please subscribe and be encouraging with your rating. We love you all. Be blessed, and we'll see you next time. Bye.